What's going on, everybody? This is John G, aka Mr. Go In. And recently I let you guys know that I'm going to be competing in my first ever bodybuilding show. So you probably have seen, some people on YouTube compete in their bodybuilding shows and stepping on stage. But do you know the real reason of why they actually decided to step on stage? So I figured with me, I'd pull back that curtain and let you know, what drove me to step on stage. Kind of let you guys know a little bit more about me. So to answer that question, we gotta flip all the way back to June 2016. I went to the American Fit Expo in the Woodlands. It's a little bit north of Houston, which is where I live. And it was a really great event attended by, bodybuilders and fitness athletes. Basically, it wasn't shows or anything. You just, showed up, take some pictures, kiss some babies, And so I got a lot of good pictures and met a lot of really cool people. But I would say the person that I was most excited to meet was Jay Cutler. And I'll tell you why. Out of all the people who attended the event, he was the person that I've known about for the longest, right? So I'm talking 10 plus years I've known about Jay Cutler. That's because, when I was lifting back then, me and my friend were talking, about bodybuilders, and he mentioned Jay Cutler, and I'm like, Jay Cutler? You mean Denver Broncos quarterback, Jay Cutler?
Dude, that's Jay Cutler over there, quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Oh my God! I mean, you kind of suck, but my dad says you might be good someday. Thanks.
And he's like, no, not that Jay Cutler, Jay Cutler. So I'm like, okay, let me do some research on the cat and saw how, accomplished he is, 4-time Mr. Olympia. Like, you don't do that without some type of work ethic. I mean, you gotta tip your hat to somebody who can, do all those things and look the way that he does, right? When I found out that Jay Cutler was gonna be there, I was excited just to meet him, take a picture, shake his hand, see how, big he is. And so, of course, he had, a super long line, and I've never really been to like this type of expo, so I didn't know exactly what you're supposed to do. So it seemed like what most people would do is they come up, they shake his hand, say, hi, my name is this, take a picture, and then if they had a question, they'd stay and ask him. And then if they didn't, they'd, go about their merry way and start talking to, another person that they wanted to see. So that's about what I expected to get to. Now, I did have a question for him, so I was gonna, not try to make it too long. You want to be mindful of the people in line, right? You want to be that guy who's holding up the line. So I'm next. I'll walk up to Jay and I have my hand out. I'm smiling ear to ear. And so I can have my hand out, to shake his hand, right? And he kind of like looks at me. And he kind of turns his head and he's like, do you compete? And I'm thinking, well, I do calisthenics competitions, but I don't think that's what he's talking about, right? I mean, this dude's a bodybuilder. So I just respond, I'm like, no, I don't compete, nah. And he's like, you really should consider it. I mean, you got, a nice chest, good frame, small waist, good definition. And so I'm like, mouth on the floor, like, wow, Jay Cutler is complimenting me and telling me that I could compete. Mr. 4-time Mr. Olympia is telling me I should compete. Like, that's the heck of accomplishment. Like, that totally made my day right there. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into it. And so then I asked him a question. I don't even remember what I asked him because I was so like, out there after he said that. So then, I took my picture, went about the day. And I think shortly after that, I just left because I was like, okay, the event's not getting any better than that. I had met, everybody that I wanted to and took pictures. So I was like, man, I'm out. So I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're just competing because Cutler said that. No. Listen up. Actually, what that did was that took my interest from 0 to like 50. So I still wasn't, gonna compete based on that, but it was definitely a big compliment. Flip forward one more month to July. I went to the Branch Warren Classic. So this had your bikini competitions, your men's physique, your bodybuilding, and it also had a lot of other stuff going on with deadlifts and CrossFit. But when I came to the Branch Warren Classic, that is what really got the competitive juices flowing, because when I saw everyone on stage and you could see how proud they were to be on stage, and you could see the people that put in a lot of work. So it's not like cramming for a test and, you know, studying the last 3 hours and then you ace the test. No, with those people on stage, you can tell they have put, you know, weeks, months, time, sacrifice into being on stage. And you know that they're bringing their best and they want to show their best. And they look great. So, you know, the competitive nature in me says, well, you know, let me see what I got, you know, standing next to them. Plus, you know, when these people are on stage, I mean, you know, you look like you're just in life, in-person Photoshop. I mean, you're so shredded, so lean, and so muscular. It's like the best you'll ever look until you do another show, right? So I'm just curious to see what is like the best I'll ever look. Not ever, but what's that, you know, super low body fat, super muscular, what does that look like on me? You know, to get to that point, I mean, it takes, you know, a lot of hard work, but that part I'm not worried about because, you know, I'm used to going to the gym, I'm used to counting my macros, I'm used to using the food scale. Of course, getting on stage is a whole nother level that I'm finding out. We'll get to that in another video. But that drive to say, what do you look like when you're at your best, right? I wouldn't say necessarily most healthy because, you know, being that low in body fat, there's a reason why you don't stay like that year round. But, you know, what does that look like? So I didn't want to make this too long, but that's really the story. That's why I'm going to compete in a couple of weeks. The weeks are going by pretty fast. I'm trying to get, you know, stage ready. I don't know if I'm quite there now, but making good strides. Every week, every day, making good strides, and that's what it's all about. If you liked the video, here's a novel idea. Hit like on the video. Comment below if you've ever competed in a show and what drove you to compete. And be sure to subscribe for more great fitness videos. Until next time.